Hey guys, it's Jonathan here on August 4th, 2011. Today I'm going to make my vlog on a few applications that I use on Windows that I find useful and that anybody can really use. I'm going to have to kind of rush through this because I tried to do this previously and the video was way too long because I tend to ramble and somehow I rambled on for like 34 minutes. Yeah, not going to work for YouTube. But anyways, I hide my desktop using Fences, which I find is a really useful program. It's free, but I think there is also a paid version. I'll post links to some of these in my blog, and it you can divide it into quick links, programs, files, and documents, anything. I think on the paid version, you can actually set it to filter these automatically instead of having to drag them, which I really don't think is a big deal because you can just drag them to whatever box you want to. You can move the boxes around, resize them, and as you resize them, they'll actually feel to fit that box. And you can also they get scroll bars too if the application's too big. Excuse me. And you can resize them, whatever. Very useful application. I enjoy it because it makes my desktop look pretty and I can see the whole picture without all these little themes up and down it. Let's see here. uTorrent. I'm gonna make a totally separate vlog on that because there's ways to optimize it. I know some people have slow downloads with uTorrent, and it's not always because there's not enough seeders and peers. It usually has something to do with their settings inside their computers, so I'll do something separate on that. CC Cleaner is made by Puriform, and it's a very useful application. It basically cleans out your entire computer of temporary files, cookies on internet browsers, sessions, download history, and it also cleans out temporary files inside of literally applications on your computer like Microsoft Office, Paint.net, Skype, SunJava, Ventrilo, QuickTime. I mean, literally anything that it can find that it recognizes, it'll clean that applications out. It has a registry cleaner as well. Very useful if you don't know anything about manually cleaning your registry. It can scan for issues, and then if it finds issue, you can fix those selected issues by just hitting fix selected issues, and it'll delete them, and it'll do the default what it's supposed to do or what it thinks it should do. Very useful if you don't know anything. Tools, you can manually uninstall all your programs. It lists them all in alphabetical order. I believe you can also get it to list Windows updates, and it'll list those too, Windows driver packages, whatnot. And it's very useful if you can't uninstall using something in the control panel. You can use this. Startup, it shows all your startup programs, what's enabled, what's disabled. You can also delete these completely out of your registry to where it doesn't start up. System Restore, it lists all your system restores currently on your computer, dates and times, what actually happened, like install DirectX, install Parallels Tools, Windows Update, remove JitBit, and you can manually remove these without having to remove them all at one time. Drive Wiper, I've never used this, so I don't know much about it. And that's basically CC Cleaner in a nutshell. Speccy is also made by Puriform. It lists very detailed accounts of everything that your system is made of: audio, optical drives, hard drives, graphics, motherboards, RAM, CPU, operating systems. And it has a summary. It even has a default view as summary, and it just lists basic all of what you have. And then you can go into actual like clicking the links to what, like, it'll list hard drives, it'll list how many cylinders you have, what type it is, and it'll list even the temperature of your hard drive, the temperature of your CPU. I mean, it's very useful anytime you need an upgrade. If you're having a technical problem and you need to give someone very detailed accounts of what is actually in your system, very, very useful. WinRAR, most people know about that. Very nice unzipping application everyone should have. VLC, not very pretty to look at, but it literally plays almost any video file you can throw at it. And it also plays music, but definitely not pretty for music. I'd use a separate application. But VLC is a very popular throw any video at it, player application. It even plays some video files that I've never even heard of as extensions. Defraggler, I preferred this over Windows defrag because it's very useful. It can be boot time defragged, which means you can actually defrag files and startup files um, on your system without actually being booted into Windows OS, which is more efficient in my opinion than actually being inside the system and trying to defrag all those folders. It also gives you real-time updates of used and free space and capacity. Let's see, Fraps. Everybody knows what Fraps is. It's a gamer mostly for MMOs, used to record gaming on your computer. Blah, 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 blah. TCP optimizer. I'll go into that in a later vlog. That is also something you will probably use for internet speeds. PS3 Media Server is a very nice application. If you own a PlayStation 3, it will send videos, pictures, music to your PS3 without them actually being on your PS3 hard drive. It's very useful for saving time and transferring files to it, especially if you don't have a modded PS3, because I know some people that have modded PS3s use FTP, which if you do not have modded PS3, it's very useful for that. Advanced key and mouse recorder. I use that as my macro recorder, and it basically records all the keystrokes that you do and all the mouse movements and clicks that you do for a given amount of time as you're recording. It automates certain things that you do on your computer. That I use it mostly for Final Fantasy XIV because crafting is very monotonous and you're doing the same action over and over and over again. And personally, I don't want to sit here for hours doing that because that is not something I enjoy. Yeah. And it's just, I can let it run for like literally, I remember I had it run for 10 hours, and that's 10 hours I wasn't sitting at my computer doing the same action over and over again, and I woke up and I was already 10 levels ahead of what I previously was. Very useful, but it can be used for anything on your computer screen, any application, whatever. Paint.net, I find this very useful for picture editing. It can be very simple or advanced because it has a lot of things you can do, but even simple users who don't know much about picture editing can still use it because it's set up like Paint. But you can add layers, effects, adjustments, utilities. It's really useful, and I really like the layers option without having to literally edit the image. You can just put something over or under it and just combine it that way. I find that very useful. That is actually a free application, which is a very nice one. Camtasia Studio is a advanced video editing tool. I'm not going to actually show you that because a lot of people wouldn't understand it if you're not into video editing. If you're just simple, whatever, use Windows Movie Maker because it's very easy and laid out, simple. And that's about all I'm going to cover right now for today because I think I'm rambling on a little too much. But a little bit about my personal things that happened. I went to the optometrist yesterday, and he really, I don't like doctors, any kind of doctors, but I really like this guy. He was very thorough, and he explained stuff to me in a very simple and easy to understand way. And he really drastically changed my prescription because previously I had 3.25 in my right eye and a no prescription in my left eye. And he changed it to a 2 in my right eye and a 7.25 in my left. 7.25. That is a huge difference. So I have a headache the size bigger than Texas, really bigger than Texas, and I've been taking a leave like a fucking crackhead. So I can't take them out though because I'm trying to get used to it, and I definitely see much better than I did before. And I have to go back Tuesday to make sure that this prescription is still working for me to order my contacts. So I'm very happy with that. I'm going to see my parents between the 10th and the 15th down in Baton Rouge. I'm also bringing my guy, which is a huge deal because my mother usually never lets, I should just say, gay or bi guys into her house. Like, even as a teenager, I wasn't allowed to bring anybody over. I have tons of straight friends, and she, knew all that crap, but she would never let any of those type of people in our house. Very, very close-minded. But for her to be inviting him to stay there for 5 days, and also my dad agreed to it, it's a huge deal. And the more I keep thinking about it, I'm thinking, oh my God, This is a fucking trap. I know it for a fact. But there's nothing I can really do about it because honestly, staying at my parents' place just to, visit and go to New Orleans and whatnot is much cheaper than getting a hotel room. But I'm excited about that because I haven't seen my parents, I think, since April. I think it was April. And I'm excited to be down back in Baton Rouge and New Orleans and whatnot. But anyways, I'm gonna end this video before I end, I keep forgetting this. I'm gonna give it a shout out to Rose Asylum on GG. It's a gay gamer site, gamer. But yeah, it's a very useful site. Even if you're not a very if you don't game all the time, it still has its social aspects. It has IRC, news poster, interesting. I think it's updated. I think multiple times a day. I can't remember. I think about 2 to 3 times a day. Anyways, I found it a very interesting site. Some parts of it are a little more NSFW than some, but that's to be expected, I suppose. But yeah, giving a shout out to Rose Asylum and everybody else on GG. Check it out. I'll probably post a link to it on my blog. So anyways, ending this vlog post. I hope everyone is having an awesome week, and I'll see y'all this weekend. Y'all have a great week. Bye bye, y'all.